there is I'm new to First2, so yeah, I don't have, that's why I'm in this session, to learn from you more than tell you what I know. Thanks.
Thanks, Dave. All right, Jefferson Heimer, you're next on my screen.
Hey, I'm Jefferson Heimer. I'm a first year First2 student. I don't know too much. Again, why I'm here. It's my first year running through the whole system here. I do know that the entire point of First2 is to help boost retention in STEM fields for underrepresented and first generation students, which is why I joined. So
awesome. Thanks, Jefferson. Kayla Lance.
Hi, everybody. So I'm a new chemistry faculty at Fairmont State. Very new to First2, although it feels like I'm jumping all in with all of the stuff that Eric and I have chatted about with it. From what I understand, it helps students, first gen and minority and diversity students kind of get into college, and helps them their first 2 years, which I think is awesome. I'm from West Virginia, was a semi first generation student. My mom and I went to college at the same time. And so this would have been really helpful while both of us were trying to navigate college back then.
Thanks, Kayla. Ethan?
Hey, I'm Ethan. I've been in First2 for, this is my second year now. I was a student director last semester and student scholar this semester and last semester. What I know about First2 is that they give you a ton of opportunities. They just kind of put them out on the board and ask you, hey, do you want to go to this? And it's kind of up to the students to decide, because it's based on student leadership.
Thanks, Ethan. Barbara Liedl.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Barbara Liedl. I'm faculty at West Virginia State University. I'm in the biology department. I'm actually the club advisor for our new club that's forming. So Kayla, we need to talk because I'm still navigating, and the other club leaders, club advisors have been helpful. So you're not alone. I also worked with Mike Foltz, who's our chemistry department chair, who is involved in several aspects, but did our immersion program this summer. And the big thing that I deal with first, and that I'm excited about, is the idea of getting more students in the pipeline and supported through the pipeline so that they can get out and actually go on into careers and other professional training in there. We need more.
Thanks, Barbara. Louise Yarnall.
Hello, I'm Louise Yarnall. I'm out in California, so it's bright and early for me. I'm a new member of the First2 advisory board, and very excited to be part of this. My background is that I have spent a long time actually working with mostly 2-year college educators and faculty who prepare the STEM technician workforce. So all the new, scientific discoveries, technological discoveries that wind up in the workplace, and biotech and advanced manufacturing and IT and cybersecurity and all that, nanotechnology and optics and photonics. And many of the people who go into STEM technician fields sometimes will stack their credentials and wind up getting a 4-year degree. So anyway, and I've also just worked a lot with industry in that work. So very excited to be part of this.
Thank you so much for joining us so early.
Hi,
Alicia Joseph.
Hi, my name is Alicia Joseph. I'm the Marshall University campus lead. I've been involved with First Two for 2 years. I'm also a sophomore. I feel like I've like been involved in so many network events, like whether it be lobbying or speaking about First Two. So I have a very clear understanding of the mission, and I feel like I do know about all the opportunities presented because I have to relay that message to other students.
Love it. Thanks, Alicia. Amaya Walker.
Hello, I'm Amaya Walker. I'm State's campus lead. And basically what First Two is, we're, like Jefferson said, we're aiming to double the retention rate and also help students and change systems. And First Two has presented me with opportunities as well. I was able to speak at the Capitol, which was amazing because having people to actually listen to me meant so much to me.
Awesome. Thank you, Amaya. Oscar Enriquez.
Hey, I'm newer to First Two, I'm sorry. I'm a First Two scholar for this semester, and I'm definitely going to be doing it next semester. First Two definitely offered me, a lot of opportunities I definitely wouldn't have got, if I wasn't, so lucky to be in it. I definitely did enjoy the immersion experience that I had in the summertime, and doing water quality was definitely an interesting experience.
Awesome. Thank you, Oscar. Nate Hollister.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nate Hollister. I work for WVU Tech's Upward Bound program, so we work with a lot of first-gen students. I have a background in secondary education, so I'm excited to take part and see what I can learn.
Thanks, Nate. Ike Moots.
Ike Moots. I also work at WVU Tech's Upward Bound program, and most of what we do is work with what would be first-generation college students. So always interested in programs that will turn first-generation college students into first-generation college graduates.
I love that. Thanks, Ike. Scott Robertson.
Hello, everybody. My name is Scott Robertson. I'm the Assistant Dean of Students here at WVU Tech in Beckley, and I serve as the director of not only our TRIO Upward Bound program, but our TRIO Student Support Services program, and that little asterisk that says other duties as assigned that we all know about in higher education. I'm here to learn more today. We would definitely want to find ways that we can be more ingrained into the First Two network from the pre-college, but even also from the college level. So I'm glad to be here today.
Thank you, Scott. We're glad to have you. Margie Suter.
Hi, I am Margie Suter. I am from Marion County, West Virginia. I am the STEM teacher for the county and curriculum designer. I'm working K-8, kindergarten through 8th grade, trying to get students interested in STEM and STEM careers, especially our girls, and trying to get some of our students to think about college and STEM careers and things that they might be interested in. So I'm starting very young.
And we so need that. Thank you so much, Margie. Scott Robertson.
You need me to talk again?
Oh, goodness. I'm sorry. You switched up on me.
Sorry. I was like, I'll talk. Ike and Nate know that. So
I'm just going to make you co-host so that you can just keep going. Sean Harwell, you're next.
Hi, I'm Sean Harwell. I work at Fairmont State University as a First Two grant assistant, so I'm pretty ingrained in First Two and its inner workings. And so First Two, is really about helping STEM students in their first 2 years excel through that, have a good backbone and support group through those first 2 years, and then introducing them into industry so that they can excel even after college and help boost STEM in West Virginia as well.
Thanks, Sean. Kim Cowley.
Hey, everybody. My name's Kim Cooley, and I work at ICF, and we are serving as the external evaluator for the First2 network. And I am a native West Virginia and a first-generation college goer myself from many moons ago. So anything that I can do to further our understanding of all the facets of the network just is going to enhance our evaluation services. And yet also this First2 network is kind of near and dear to me both personally and professionally. So delighted to be here.
Thanks, Kim. Let's go to Fatima.
Hi guys, good morning everyone. My name is Fatma Irfan and I've served with First2 for 2 years as a student. I started in my last semester of sophomore year and I've been a student scholar and director as well as internship planner coordinator for summer of 2019 for summer immersion. And right now I'm serving as AmeriCorps member for First2 Networks, coming to full-time from school and stuff, so it's a good transition. I'm excited to be here and I really advocate for First2 Network motive to enhance STEM retention rate in West Virginia and make it easier for first-gen and minority students.
Thank you. Maylin.
Hello. This is my first year in First2. I actually found out about it because I was in the summer immersion experience program. After that, I really liked it. I like to have hands-on stuff, so I'm here to learn more about it.
Thank you so much, Maylin. Chad Patton.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Good to see everybody. I actually came in contact with First2 Network as we were doing research for a National Science Foundation grant. And we have a, we call it the SITE program, which is in partnership with Microsoft. And it's an effort to increase diversity in their workforce. And so we did research to see what was out there, you know, what organizations are already doing things that could help us. And First2 really stood out. And so we made some connections, and Jade and Erica spent some time with us, and just in about 15 minutes, we had more ideas than we could handle. And so I'm just here to learn a little bit more about it, and I certainly appreciate their time.
Thanks, Chad. So glad you could join us. Sherry Mitchell.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sherry Mitchell. I am an academic advisor for Fairmont State University's College of Science and Technology. And one of my passion projects is first generation student, because I am a first generation student and also a non-traditional student, because I completed 1 year of college right after the Civil War, I think, you know, when I was supposed to, and then just really had a major, what we now consider or know as a imposter syndrome, and just really did not fit in, and ended up finally earning my bachelor's at 39 and my master's at 45. So I'm just thrilled to be here.
Thank you, Sherry. So you guys switched up on me again. So I think it's Michelle, then Madge, and then Evan Witters.
Hi everyone, I'm Michelle Richards-Babb. I just popped in today. I'm not new to First2. I've been with the program for a couple years now, but I enjoy working with First2. I enjoy meeting people throughout the state. I'm a professor of chemistry at West Virginia University. I'm also director of the Office of Undergraduate Research, and I'm also, or am, I guess you're always a first generation student, right? So, so I am still a first generation student. So near and dear to my heart.
Thanks, Michelle. Madge?
Hey, we're just introducing ourselves, or did you give us a question to answer?
Introduce yourself and tell us about First2.
Okay, well, I'll turn on my video then. All right. I'm Madge Vostine, and I'm with the Green Bank Observatory. Got my hat on today. And I work with First2 with helping Sue Ann on the business end, the reports and things like that to report back to the NSF, because that's always very important. We have to say hello and thank the people who support us financially and with all the other things that they do. So First2 is a great program. I've been very excited to see the moves and the momentum that has been gained.
Thanks, Madge. And last but not least, Evan Witters, who joined right on time.
I really should know better at this point. Hey, how are you guys doing? It's good to see you. I'm Evan Witters. I am the Associate Provost for Undergraduate Education at West Virginia University. And I work with Michelle and Gay Stewart quite a bit. And really, I'm just looking to learn more about all the great stuff you guys are doing. I'm fairly new to the position, and I won't pretend that I know everything that you have accomplished. So I just want to hear more about it.
Awesome. So thank you all so much for just sharing with us. So at this time, I am going to start just a really quick presentation to sort of orient you to the First2 network. I am sharing my screen. Can someone give me a thumbs up if you see it? You know, you can only trust technology so much.
We're seeing it.
Thank you. All right, so I'm going to start with this quick video.
Needs to create new jobs.
To do so requires an eagerness to innovate
And a willingness to evolve. To adapt the strengths we inherit.
and combine them with a resolve to move forward.
It requires collaboration from different sectors. Offering a chance to emerge from separate corners.
And progress together.
The National Science Foundation
Through its Includes program,
has recognized the need
to diversify,
our national STEM workforce
West Virginia was chosen
as a testing ground for new methods and models to improve access to education
training
and future job markets. Through Includes
an already diverse community
is working to support the number of young people who are the first in their family to pursue a post-secondary degree
in science,
technology, engineering,
or math.
For those of us who were born here, like me, who are proud to be here, like me,
or who hope to continue working and living here, like me,
we want to continue shaping the opportunities available in our state
through a network that already exists.
If you haven't heard of me, you soon will. I am the First2 Network.
All right, so we are known as the First2 network because we support students within the first 2 years of their college experience. So research has shown that students are at the highest risk of dropping out of college or changing their major within the first 2 years. So if we can support them in that critical time in their college career, then we know that they'll be successful and they can persist throughout their college experience. The mission of the First2 network is to increase the number of students who graduate in science, technology, engineering, and math. And we're going to do that by focusing on students who are the first in their families to go to college, or students who are underrepresented in STEM. And oftentimes, students who are first generation are also underrepresented minorities. We're also focusing on their first 2 years of college, which I mentioned is a critical breaking point in the college and career pathway for many of our brightest and best students. The shared vision of the First2 network is to double the number of STEM graduates. It's currently at about 30%. We want to make that 60% in 10 years. We are in the midst of doing research, and we're going to complete a comprehensive research study to advance the understanding of the factors that affect rural first-generation student entry into and persistence in STEM career pathways. And we also want to build a collaborative culture that results in sustainable, long-lived improvement networks. And I think we're already doing a great job at that. We've got people in this call from California and from Virginia and from all over the state of West Virginia. So we're super excited that this is actually working. It's happening now. And we are also tasked with creating a model program for other states with similar economies. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the term EPSCoR, but there are a number of EPSCoR states in the United States. And the goal for us is to create a model program for these EPSCoR states to follow after. West by God, Virginia, we get to do this for other states to emulate after, and that's just major. So First2 Network began as a pilot project that was actually funded by the NSF in 2016. And the goal was to provide early exposure to STEM research to rising college freshmen. So typically, the students who get to do research in labs are typically older students, right? And so the First2 Network is testing this idea that if we engage students in research early in their freshman year and their sophomore year, we can build some self-efficacy. We can make them feel like they belong in this field, right? So it's just such a great method to really capture and engage students early on. And so we also support student leadership and agency. So, you know, it's not just making them good researchers, right? But it's making sure that they know how to lead. It's making sure that they have the confidence to know that they are capable of doing this kind of work. So the NSF includes is the grant. That's the grant money that we received was from the NSF includes. And includes is a super long acronym, and it stands for Inclusion Across Communities of Learners of Underrepresented Discoverers in Engineering and Science. Huge. But the goal is to broaden participation, right? We want people from all walks of life, all nationalities to be engaged in STEM. In 2018, September 2018, First2 received an NSF Includes Award of $7.15 million for the next 5 years. And so that money went to these different organizations. These are our PI organizations: Green Bank Observatory, High Rocks Educational Corporation. They oversee the student engagement piece of the grant. West Virginia University is responsible for the research arm of the grant. SRI International is based out of California, and they're actually our mentor organization. And so they are working with me at HEPC to really build the capacity for the First2 Network to persist beyond the grant period. ICF is our external evaluator. Fairmont State University is a PI organization responsible for building capacity and industry engagement with the network. And then the Higher Education Policy Commission is where I work from. And again, we're just tasked with making sure that communication goes forth and making sure that people are brought to this work who have the resources and the passion to see this work through. These are some of our partners, and this list is ever growing. It's so exciting to add more companies and schools to this list. So this is definitely not exhaustive. And these are our working groups. So the primary focus of these working groups, and first let me give a little context around what a working group is. So when you become involved in the First2 Network, you have an opportunity to actually engage in some type of work that is going to move the needle forward in terms of retaining our STEM students. And so college readiness is one of those working groups, and they are engaged in the K-12 sector, making sure that the public school teachers are equipped with the knowledge of what's happening in STEM, making sure that they're aware of opportunities for professional development in terms of talking with their students about STEM fields. The Faculty Student Engagement Working Group is responsible for making sure that the relationship between the faculty members and our first generation and underrepresented STEM students is a good one, right? So oftentimes these students, they come to college and they're afraid to ask questions. They don't want to look like they don't know the answer to something. They don't necessarily have that confidence that it would take to even visit a teacher during their office hours. So this working group is really based on just increasing the communication and bettering relationships between STEM faculty and STEM students. The Immersive Experiences Working Group is responsible for summer immersive research and year-long immersive research. The Student Leadership Working Group is responsible for engaging our students, making sure that they are aware of opportunities on their campus and throughout the state and even beyond, to exercise their leadership and to also have some professional development there. And then most recently, we've developed the First2 student alumni. So our students who have actually come through this programming have said, you know what, we don't want to be done with the First2 network. How can we stay involved? And so, you know, that's just awesome that the students feel so passionately about this work that they want to continue to be a part of this network even after they've graduated college. So that's super exciting. Also not listed on this is our new industry advisory board. So industries across the state, and we're actually going to have a panel discussion later today with some of them, but industries across the state are seeing that they're going to have this big turnover in their workforce within the next 5 years. And so they are, you know, really excited to be a part of the First2 network on this industry advisory board, so that we can help relieve some of those issues that they're going to see in the future in terms of retaining workers and recruiting workers. So here are some ways that students can be involved in the First2 network. And this picture is of some of our students participating in undergraduate research day at the Capitol. Of course, we've got the immersive experiences. We have campus clubs at our partner institutions. Students can be a hometown ambassador. That's when they go back to their high school and they talk to the students there about their experience as a first generation or underrepresented STEM student. Legislative and policy ambassadors are students who go to the Capitol, like Amaya mentioned. They speak with our legislators and they tell them about this work in an effort to get it on their radar, right? We don't want this programming to end after 2023, right? Because the grant period's only for 5 years. So we want to make sure that we're connecting with people who will help this program persist throughout the long term. Peer mentoring, campus research mentoring, leadership training and development. Students can be directors on their campus. We have some directors on this call right now. So just awesome leadership opportunities. And then of course, students are involved in the working groups. The future of the First2 network, we want to expand throughout all of West Virginia. We want to be a household name. We want people to know the programming that we offer our students, and not just us, right? So it's not all about us being known, but we want to create a network of all of the STEM opportunities that students have available, all of the STEM work job opportunities that are available. We want to network and bring everything, just sort of like spread the table really for our students so that they know you do have options in West Virginia. You don't have to leave here to get a good job. You can be a STEM student and get a good job in West Virginia. So we want to expand. And of course, as I mentioned before, we want to expand to states with similar economies. And that's one of the things that we are tasked with doing by the NSF, and that's to create this model program. So our advisory committee, these are the wonderful members of our advisory committee. As I said, we've got David Moore on the call with us. Super excited to have him. Dr. Toledo, the VP for Research at West Virginia State, was on a panel discussion yesterday, and so was Dr. Peduto and Ann Barth. So they are really engaged in what we're doing, and they are excited to be a part of this work, which is, of course, exciting to us as well. All right, so at this time, I'm going to stop sharing because I have another poll for you guys. So let me get that up. And Erica, please chime in if I miss something or if I'm going too fast or.
Well, just while you're getting that poll up, I'll underscore that NSF funded us to change systems. So really all the working groups are about not just changing a microenvironment, but thinking about how that microenvironment change can be informing really big systemic change. So the idea is you're testing something in your classroom, but it doesn't end there. You're sharing that out with other classrooms. We're finding out what works at one college and broadening that out to the whole state. So the idea is really that West Virginia looks different at the end of these 5 years than it did at the beginning, and that institutionally we are structured better to support the students that we have, rural, first generation, and other underrepresented students in STEM, so that our STEM workforce stays in West Virginia and also looks like our state. And that is of interest, I think, to all of us.
Yeah. Okay. So
And the other thing that I was going to say is just thank you to the students who are here, who are putting our money where our mouth is, that we really do try to keep students at the center. It's not that we're doing things to students or for students, we're doing things with students.
Yes, that's such a good point to add. Thanks, Erica. Okay, here comes the second poll.
Sorry, Jade.
Oh, no, that's great. So
is everybody able to see this while it's open? Or are people able to see the results? I can, but I'm not sure if that's good. Okay, others can too. Oh, you can't?
I see some responses coming in.
Right, they see the poll, but they don't see the results maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we can see the poll, but I can't see the results.
I'll share the results at the end. I didn't do that last time. Right. Which group do you see yourself fitting best into within the First2 network?
And there might be some groups that don't exist yet. One thing, I'm so happy to see Sherry and that whole group of TRIO folks on the call, because we feel like that's a little bit of a hole in our network right now. We have faculty student engagement, but there's a student support services piece that is just critical at every campus and doing amazing things. And we don't have a formal group for that yet.
Okay, I'll give you a few more seconds and then I will actually share the results of this poll.
And thank you, Jade. That was a really neat overview. For everyone else on the call, you can be thinking of things that you still want to know, because that's how we'll end this session, is trying to answer the things you have.
Okay, so I am sharing the poll results. So it looks like a lot of people see themselves fitting into the student leadership group. And I'm assuming that that's the students who are on this call, and perhaps maybe some of our faculty members or some of our administrators. Maybe you can see yourself serving in a mentorship capacity or something else. So we're going to dig into these numbers here in a little bit. The student faculty engagement there, college readiness, high ed STEM administrator, no worries, because that's coming. Industry partners, immersive experiences, and no student alumni yet. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing and let's talk about these results. I'm not going to call on you, but you know, if you're one of the ones like me and you just can't help yourself and you just really want to speak to this, I want you to share with us why do you see yourself, or how do you see yourself fitting in that group? And if you have any other questions for us about First2, now is your chance to ask. So just unmute yourself or you can put it in the chat. But I just want to use these next few minutes. We've got about 10 more minutes before this session closes. And I just want us to have an open discussion. Let's talk about this. How do you see yourself fitting in the First2 network? And what questions do you still have for First2? So I'm going to mute myself and yield the floor to the first brave soul.
Well, I was interested in the student support services comment earlier, and if that had been one of the groups that was listed there, it's probably the one I would have checked rather than student leadership. Could Erica expand on that a little bit more as to what she thinks is a critical need for student support services?
We know that, Sherry, I'll ask you to jump in on this too, but we know that there are pieces, for instance, advising and coaching on campus is not necessarily directly connected to the classroom. And programs like the TRIO program, where you follow students from high school up into college with a lot of wraparound support services, we feel like we need to connect those, broadcast them, and tie into them better. And Sherry has sort of tentatively agreed to be one of the people helping lead that. Do you want to say something, Sherry? If you're still here. I might have lost you. Oh, I think we did lose her. She's an advisor on our campus and has been interested in getting together with the advisors from other campuses to sort of share what's working. And so that's our thought right now, is to maybe form a new working group that would, if there's another person who's interested in being a co-chair, that's sort of what we need to form a working group. And then we get together by just coalescing all the people who might be interested in that. And so I was thinking that Nate, Ike, and Scott, you guys might be interested. At least we could set up a call. And Dave, I didn't know that you'd be interested in that too. That would be really interesting.
Well,
right. That's been the reason we couldn't name the committee yet, because everyone says everything is student support. So maybe it's going to be advising and coaching. That's one of the first questions that would have to be addressed.
What other questions do you have?
Or we have a lot of chat that are emerging.
Yes. Would you like to expound on anything Louise put in the chat? I see myself assisting the team in employer and industry engagement, visioning, planning, engaging, and sustaining it. And we need you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Ethan has in the chat, he was a mentor for a summer immersion site. Opportunities such as available to students after their first year. Thank you, Ethan. Kim Cooley has a question. How much crossover is there across working groups? How closely do they work interactively? And do lots of members work on multiple working groups? Great questions, Kim. Okay, so the first question I'll address, how much crossover is there across working groups? Actually, I think I can answer 2 of these questions in one pass, so let's see. So we do have a number of people engaged in more than one working group. I wouldn't say that it's common. As people have time, they sort of make room for the pieces of First2 that they feel most passionately about. So we're really careful with not pulling too much on any one individual. We want industry leaders, we want faculty members and administrators to do what makes sense for them, right? So there is some crossover, but it's not a ton of crossover. Generally, if you are a faculty member, you are generally engaged in the faculty student engagement piece or the immersive experience piece. How closely do they work interactively? Erica, if you want to jump in.
Sure, we actually have a steering committee for the whole network that meets once a month, and we're constantly iterating on exactly the best format for that, but that's a place where the chairs of the working groups come together and share information with each other, make sort of strategic decisions for the network. And then there's even a smaller group of that is the leadership team for the project that meets weekly. And so there's crossover by talking to each other at those monthly steering group meetings. And we're also trying to use our website more and more. Behind the scenes of the website, if you become a member on our website, there is a great deal of information where you can watch activity from different groups that you join. So you can lurk in a group to see the input from that, or you can really join and be a contributing member of that working group.
And if you have not joined the website and become a member, I encourage you to do so. It's a great tool to really see what's happening within the network in the working groups as well.
I wanted to say to Evan also that higher education group is incipient right now. We're on the cusp. We realize that we've got MOUs with a lot of institutions now, and there are administrators who would probably enjoy and benefit from being able to share with each other across institutions. Is that something that would be of interest to you, or would you see yourself?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, we're extremely invested in student success, and a priority of that is exactly what you talk about: success in STEM and success for underrepresented and Pell recipients and any kind of disadvantaged, students. So, I mean, really, even if you look at it from an administration perspective, that's where we can best increase our numbers, and make our retention and student success efforts really visible, is by doing the types of things you're doing, having people actually interact with students and really attempt to improve the outcomes for the students who normally don't have as high of outcomes as some of the other ones from different backgrounds. So yeah, I mean, anything we can do to foster cooperation or collaboration between different universities and groups is fantastic. I appreciate your effort.
So Ethan has put in the chat such a great point. He says, I will also note from a student perspective that if you have a new idea and can tell someone how it would be helpful, the first two will usually support the new ideas from students. That's such a great point. And it really speaks to what Erica mentioned. And this is at the heart of what we believe. And that is that, you know, we want to do things with students and not to them. We don't want to prescribe, this is what you should do. We really want to hear from the students. What are the things that they notice is lacking? What is the support that they need? So we really give them a seat at the table, and we work with them to identify some ways that we can improve in an effort to help them persist in their field. So that's such a great point, Ethan. Thank you so much for saying that.
I had a question. Could somebody give me an example of what some of the summer immersive activities are? Just
Erica, do you want to take that one? Or Barbara, you should answer that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Barbara, or the students could answer that.
So Dave, this year was unusual in that we had to do everything virtually, which was a real pivot for all the sites. But so what they generally do is break up the day. So there's generally some keynote speakers, and in some cases we shared those across campuses, which was really kind of fun and cool because they got to see colleagues at other places, meet students, and see that professors interact. Then there was people on our own campuses. So our students at West Virginia State got to meet some of the people in our student support services in there that they would be meeting when they come to campus. And then they actually met several of our faculty members, ones that were involved in the research experience and others that weren't. And then they spent some time doing the actual research with us and learning pieces. They also interacted, each site had mentors that were students that had been in the first two. And those students were involved in different pieces along the way and also worked with the students outside of having faculty, et cetera. So they built a connection with those upperclassmen in there. So I'll be honest and tell you, I had so much fun this summer, and I was kind of dreading it because it was online. I bonded with the vast majority of the students we had at State, and I was not the lead. I just was the second banana here. Mike Fultz led our whole charge. I have several of the students, two of the students that I had are actually working in my lab. Right now we have a research rookies program, so we didn't actually have to go to First 2 to fund students to be in our lab, but all of our First 2 students, 5 out of the 7 we had that were really active are all in research labs this fall as freshmen.
so it's a combination of on-campus and off-campus.
Well, this time it was all virtual. If we had done it in the past, it was actually on campus, and you would get going off campus to different things. We have a colleague at the West Virginia Department of Ag, and she actually gave a tour of, she's the director of regulatory, and she gave a tour of her entire lab. It was amazing because she walked the whole time she talked, showing all the different aspects. And they have internships there. So she was also pointing out, especially for our students, alumni that are up there working, which was kind of cool.
Do you have a lot of businesses that do offer internships to your students, or?
We have some. Our chemistry department's been much more interactive, biology less so, and don't really know that math and computer science, but there's real potential there. They just haven't drilled down. But I think the other sites are a lot more active in terms of that. WVU, probably for sure, and Marshall.
Do you connect with the community colleges much at all? Is that a stepping stone, somebody that gets interested in technical skills and then decides to matriculate, or how does that work?
are really looking into expanding to the CTCS, the Community and Technical College system. I feel that there's a huge space for us there, really to partner with what they're doing. I know quite a few of our community colleges already have some sort of pipeline set up with an industry in particular. I know Toyota's got something with Bridge Valley, and Mount West has got something with West Virginia Generation WV. So there are some spaces for us to really take advantage and just really be a part of that, but definitely in the future, not now, but in the future, yes, that is something that we definitely want to do.
I don't want to dominate the time, but I just had one more question. The West Virginia National Guard, I talked with Jim Hoyer maybe a year or so ago, and they have a real recruiting problem because of the technical skills that are required now for a lot of the military occupations. Do you connect with ROTC or the West Virginia National Guard, or do you get those kinds of students at all?
Not yet, but we'll keep an eye out. You said
we don't get much from the National Guard. We do have a very active ROTC, and actually one of our first 2 students here that I connected with that was at the osteopathic centers, through the osteopathic immersion this summer, and he's actually in ROTC. So we have potential there, both ROTC and National Guard, but we generally don't get that much. Evan, do you get a lot coming through out of the National Guard?
A lot of students or a lot of first?
Yeah.
Yes, we do actually. We get a lot. I mean, one of the things that we do is if you're in the National Guard, no matter what state you're from, if you join the National Guard in West Virginia, you get in-state tuition. Right. So we actually, it's sort of a added perk that some people find out about. So we end up with even more National Guard people than you would think.
Well, you're also situated near Ohio and Pennsylvania, which also makes you a big plus.
Yeah, I mean, my understanding is we have over 300 out-of-state National Guard people. And in-state, I'm not sure, but it's probably more. So yeah, it's very important, and military outreach in general has been really important to us. Can you tell me a little bit more, Jade, about how your how this would work in a 2-year context? What I'm interested in is, you know, in West Virginia, I don't want to rub anyone the wrong way, but my experience has been that 2-year schools often are very focused on technical outcomes and job outcomes, which is great, but it makes it difficult sometimes for students to matriculate to 4-year universities. Yeah. So would it be a different, a 2-year, would you be looking to create a transfer student or to create a student who just had great outcomes and went into a technical field right away?
I'm going to try to answer this in 15 seconds or less because we have got to close and get ready for our.
Sorry, I didn't mean to take that time.
It just so happens that the Chancellor of the Higher Education Policy Commission is also the Chancellor of the Community and Technical College System, and she's also on our advisory board. Mm-hmm. So no option is off the table. So it could be a student who did really well and who just wants to transfer into 4-year, or it could be this new creation of something. So definitely, if you want to be a part of that conversation, let's talk. I mean, we got a great conversation going here. And so let's not stop here. Let's stay in touch. Let's continue to talk about how we can support our STEM students in the state of West Virginia. This has been amazing. Thank you all. Thank you so much for coming to this session. At 12 o'clock, we're going to have the Dr. Sylvia James from the NSF speaking to us about diversity, equity, and inclusion in the STEM field. If you are interested in that, please join us in 5 minutes. Thank you again so much. You guys, see you next time.
Thanks, Jade and Erica. Have a great weekend.
You too.